Hi guys, so sorry I haven't done an update. I had a lot of stuff going on when I had my daughter. She actually spent some time in the NICU, so with all of that and then having to take care of my son, going back and forth to the hospital, it was just really overwhelming. So now that I'm back, I will do my hospital update, or my labor story, and I'll give you all the details on why my daughter had to go to the NICU and all of that. This video, I thought I would just talk to you guys for a little bit, kind of tell you what's going on here with me in the recent days, I guess. And then my next video, I'll do my labor story and tell you all about my daughter and introduce her to you. As you can tell by my face, I've actually lost quite a bit of weight, of my pregnancy weight, so I'm doing really good with that, which is, awesome. But anyway, so what I wanted to talk to you was after I had my daughter and after she came out of the NICU and all of that, I decided that I wanted to go and do egg donor in my area. So I went, and me and my husband, we didn't rule out a third child just yet, even though we have our son, we have our daughter. I came from a small family, and my family, we're not close together. So I knew from the start that I wanted a big family. I just didn't know how big we wanted to, go. But we just kind of play things by ear, really, because it took so long to get pregnant with my son. So we didn't rule out a third child after my daughter was born. We just kind of decided that we were going to use, birth control for a few months, see how things go with having the both, kids and all of that, make sure everything, was good and stuff, and then, in time, if we chose, we would just do exactly what we did when we got pregnant with my son. We would just not, worry about if we were going to get pregnant or what. We were just going to let things happen. With my daughter, I charted everything, so I kind of knew exactly when I got pregnant with her, and we decided this time, if we were to have a third child, that we weren't going to do that. So anyways, when you're an egg donor, you have to be on birth control anyways, because they have to know your cycle, and with birth control, they don't want you to ovulate either, because they're going to do that artificially, I guess, with, the medicine. Before they go and collect. So I was already on birth control. Anyway, so I went into the appointment, and they do blood work, infectious diseases, because it is technically a tissue donation. So obviously you have to do infectious diseases, pap smear. They do an ultrasound to look at your ovaries, all of that. And along with the infectious diseases, they also do a egg an ovarian reserve blood test as well, just to see your levels. And for my age, it's supposed to be around a 2.5. They want you around a 3. So anyways, I did all of my blood work, everything like that, filled out all of my paperwork and everything like that. And the reason why I decided this was because having it took so long with my son, I could not imagine not being able to have a child. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted to give somebody that couldn't do it themselves a chance of a baby. Because I love my kids, and I just, like I said, I couldn't imagine it. So that was the main reason why I decided to do it in the first place. So I got, when she looked at my ovaries, she actually saw that I was ovulating. So I found out my birth control wasn't working. It wasn't strong enough, or something she said along the lines just wasn't right, and that I was ovulating. but that I could actually be pregnant too. So I had to give blood again so they could do a pregnancy test, which they did those in office. The other test they sent off, and it took 12 days to get back, and you couldn't do your next appointment until those results come back. So she was like, well, let's just see what your pregnancy test says first. And she called me that day and, told me, no, I'm not pregnant. Which at first I was a little worried about that, because that was like way soon, because this was like, my daughter was like 2 months, just at the 2-month mark, and she's almost 3.5 months now. So I was like, I don't know how I would feel that soon about it at that time. So I happened not to be pregnant and stuff like that. So she was like, okay, well, let's wait for your other results, and then, I'll contact you. We'll schedule your next appointment if those are okay. Obviously, my infectious diseases came back okay, but my ovarian reserve count did not. And like I said a few minutes ago, a normal ovarian reserve level for my age is 2.5 or 2. Mine was a 0.2, which is really not good. It's like way below average, way below not being average. My level is like of a 55-year-old woman, which means that you can go into menopause between 0.0 and a 0.5. So I could go into menopause pretty much at any time in my life right now. And that scared me because we did not roll out a third child. And after hearing that, it kind of made me make that decision that, yes, I do want a third child. I don't want my son and daughter just to be, them two. I want them to have another sibling. You know what I mean? It was just me and my sister, and my husband, it was just him and his brother. So we never, had another sibling other than my sister, or, he had his brother. And sometimes I wish I had another sibling, And I didn't want that to be like that for my kids. I wanted a bigger family. And that's probably because I didn't have a big family. So that's when we decided that we were going to go ahead and do a third child, because after talking to the fertility doctor about what that meant and everything like that, he really said that, you can't put a time limit on that. It's going to happen when it happens. It could be in a couple of years. It could be in a few months. You just don't know. So that's why we went ahead and decided that I wasn't going to take any more birth control. We weren't going to use any more protection. We're just going to go with it. Whenever I get pregnant is when I get pregnant. So we are trying for our third child. This will be our last pregnancy, though, just because of my condition. He said that there could be 2 things that could cause my egg depletion, which is chromosomal issues. They're not like, my kids aren't going to get Down syndrome or anything like that. I can pass this to them. However, with my son, with a boy, it affects them with their learning, which I see no problems with my son, so I don't think it's passed to him. With my daughter, it's fertility. It will affect her eggs. Not the quality, just the quantity. So it's not going to affect them like as far as Down syndrome or any conditions like that. So we decided that before my time is up, we're going to have a third child, or try to have a third child. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. So that is kind of like what's going on with me right now. I know my kids are going to be really close in age, but I kind of like it that way, I'd rather just get it all done, potty training, all of that just over with. Especially if I have another son, my oldest son could teach him, he could go to the bathroom with him or whatever, you know what I mean? I just feel like it's better when they're closer together. I always wish that me and my sister were closer in age. So we had already decided when we were having kids, or that we wanted to have kids, that we wanted all of our kids to be pretty close in age. So it kind of all works out. like we wanted it to anyways. But anyways, I will do a labor story for you guys, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.